What you doing, zombies? I'm the AC. I'm going to talk about Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 4, The Key. Now, before I even get on to the main meat of this episode, the title of the episode refers to one of two scenes with Morgan in them. So in this episode, the only things we see Morgan do is he finds a package from Daniel to help him find Grace, and then we see him trying to talk to a dog to try to figure out how the dog works to track Grace's scent, which is a cute and kind of funny moment in the beginning. And then next time we see him is at the very end, where he gets hit by a car with two dudes looking for the key, looking for a mail. I think it's the spray painters or somebody from the spray painters group. I don't know. They kind of just look the same to me. Their faces weren't important enough for me to remember them, but they look pretty similar, so I'm going to assume it was them. And Morgan easily kills them, but then he wonders, what does this key for? That's it. That's pretty much the only reference the title makes. It's just this one scene at the very end. I mean, I guess there's parts where people are unlocking doors with keys throughout the episode. Maybe only one time, really. Yeah, I guess there could be more meaning to it if you really dug down. But, well, I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Anyways, what this episode is mainly about is about John Dory trying to solve a crime. It's a really good episode. They doing this whole CSI kind of thing, I guess. Just any other crime scene investigation kind of deal. It was actually really good. It was a great episode for John. We get to see some development from him. But even the very beginning, we see his daily routine now in this community. And it's kind of reminiscent of the episode he had in Season 4, Episode 5, Laura, where it was just him by himself until he finally meets June. It's kind of that same feeling at the beginning of this episode. And he still kind of just seems lonely. Of course, he's not with June, but he's also surrounded by people. Still feels lonely. And it's just kind of a little sad to see that this is still how it is, but it's also nice to see that moment kind of repeats itself in this episode. So, what ends up happening is a guy named Cameron, now I don't know anything about him besides that he can draw, is found dead in a fence. This is, I don't know if John knew him very well or not, it was just the person he would switch shifts with. He was just sit at some booth and I guess just watch the perimeter, do something like that. I guess that's his main job. Who knows? Anyways, he's found dead in a fence, tangled up, getting in by walkers. He's a walker. Virginia just claims it was an accident. John's not so sure of her, of course. And this is where the crime actually begins. It's really cool to watch the episode as John investigates and is finding clues and putting everything together. And he gets to do it with Strand too, who ends up showing up for some reason, some kind of meeting or whatever, because Strand's in a big position now. And it's a cool dynamic to see these two together again. I don't really remember seeing much of them together or doing too much together ever since Season 4, Episode 13, Blackjack, when they were stranded together. Stranded. And it was cool to see them back together again. I kind of just forgot the dynamic they kind of built up way back when. But yeah, no, the clues John ends up finding is an ear piercing, one of them. Eventually he re-investigates the body, he digs it back up, finds out Cameron's throat was slit, and that he had a broken piece of a knife butt in his hand. So, of course it's not an accident. We know it's not an accident. We also know who probably did it. It was definitely probably Virginia or one of her men. And it would make sense why Virginia is constantly being like, no, it's an accident. You don't need to look into it. Okay, sure, it's suspicious. The other thing is, Dakota, Virginia's sister, is also suspicious of Virginia. And it's yeah, she's doing this to protect somebody. And I'm going to get to that later. But yeah, so eventually John is convinced Virginia enough to up security a little bit just so we can see if anybody's trying to do anything suspicious. While this happens at Cameron's funeral, Janice, who has been tasked with just doing laundry, is trying to escape. She gets caught, and Virginia's looking through her stuff, and finds another earring in there. It's like, okay, sure, you just happen to find it in there. Not suspicious at all. It's like, okay. While watching this episode, the whole time I'm just like, okay, we know it was Virginia or she ordered someone to do it. The only surprise would have been if it was somebody else or someone we didn't expect, or if it actually was Janice. It wasn't. Virginia forces Janice to confess, knowing she'll be executed. Don't know why. I think Janice is kind of just giving up. The people she cares about keep dying. I guess she just gives in, decides to confess for some reason, even though she knows she'll be executed. Okay, well, John has a plan to, I guess, break her out. He has this whole discussion with Rabbi Jacob. One, he talks about his father, which was a big moment in development and a flashback. A good way to do a flashback and have a nice moment without actually having to waste a bunch of time doing a flashback. What are we on? Yeah, this is the one. He's just talking about how his dad was trying to solve the case of this guy that kept killing women, and they know the guy did it, but they couldn't really get anything to stick to him in court. So his dad eventually frames the guy, plants evidence, and even though he knew he was doing the right thing, people never looked at him again. And John is battling this now. It's like he knows he has to do the right thing to save Janice, even if it means he could escape himself to go find June, or just letting it happen. He's telling all this to Rabbi Jacob, and he's pretty much decided he's going to do it. Rabbi Jacob doesn't really say anything to stop him or change his mind. Then, John finds Janice out in just nowhere, pretty much ripped in half. Half of her getting eaten by walkers, the other half just calling around, and then there's music going on. I don't know why they would even bother with the music. I guess it was the draw walkers. They definitely couldn't be like, oh yeah, no, this was an accident too. Okay, she was tied up and getting eaten. Okay, whatever. Don't know what the music was for. It was, I guess, just to set the mood. Anyways, so it turns out her execution was moved up because Strand told Virginia that Janice was a flight risk. And this leads John and Strand to get in a little fight, but it's also Strand doing it for John, to save John. He knew if John did this, there would be even more consequences that would get John in danger, would get pretty much the rest of the group in danger. Pretty much if any of them try to leave, the rest of them are going to be in trouble. So Strand knows this. He did it for him. It also reflects back to the second episode where Strand is taking the more darker decisions and actually doing them, just like the first couple seasons. So he does it for John. He does it because he still wants to save his friend. So after this, John is kind of honored, and I guess as a reward, June is brought to him. But then you gotta think, is this a reward for John actually helping the community, or is it just something to help John stay in place, knowing that June is there? Of course, sure, having June there could also be another flight risk. They could decide to run off together, but also being there makes it easier for Virginia to threaten June and keep threatening both of them, or maybe it's just trying to appease John. But I don't know, Virginia does see that John is contributing. She was reading his letters back and forth to June, so she knows what he's saying about the place, and she doesn't see him as being harmful to the community yet. So we'll see where this goes. But with John, and what's so great about his development is we're starting to see a darker side of him. Just like we're seeing Strand go back to his first 2 seasons, just like we're seeing Morgan become this darker, more collective. We're finally starting to see John, the goody two-shoes of the group, even more so than Morgan. Kind of starting to see him dark. I guess they symbolize that because he pulls out a tooth that was bothering him all episode. I don't know what that actually symbolizes, but yeah, he does that. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to see where he goes from here. Because, man, it was a great episode. We're seeing everyone starting to do a lot more darker, a lot more real, especially after the season and a half of them trying to be too good to where nobody liked it. This season is just progressing so nicely. I'm so excited to see what else is going to come. But the other thing, though, I was saying, like, we think it was Virginia who did the killing, but they never really confirm who it is. It must be Virginia or one of her people. But they never confirmed it. I don't know if they ever will or if they ever need to. The audience, I guess, can just assume who it is. The other thing, though, going back to Dakota, I'm getting more and more suspicious of Dakota. The fact that she's putting suspicion on her own sister, unless she's just like a saint of a child, that's a weird thing to do. I don't always get along with my siblings, but I don't think I could ever just be like, hey, yeah, no, they're terrible people who are just going around killing people. I don't think I would make my own family suspicious, but yeah, there's something weird about Dakota. And she was even saying Virginia has someone she's trying to protect by doing this stuff. Well, who else does she really want to protect? She doesn't actually care about the community as a whole, otherwise she wouldn't keep doing all the stuff she does. It would have to be Dakota. Maybe Dakota is doing stuff that is bad for him. I don't know. I'm suspicious of her. Also, I mean, kids are always suspicious regardless, but who knows? But that's pretty much what is going on in the episode. Really excited to see where it goes from here. It looks like we're getting another Dwight episode next. Hopefully that'd be better than last. It looks like a lot of cool stuff's going to happen. But yeah, let me know what you thought about the episode if you've watched it. And if you haven't yet, it's a good one. Watch it. This whole season is going pretty nicely so far. But if you like what I have to say, go and like the video. You want to see me talk more about Fear of the Walking Dead and other zombie stuff, all kinds of stuff, go and subscribe to my channel. You can see when I do all that. But until next time, I'm the AC. Thank you for watching, and bye.